What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Neeks Sports, and this is a short review of the World Cup group stages. And the question I'm asking, the question that's been asked, is this the greatest World Cup group stage of all time? And we're going to break down some statistics. We're going to go through some of the results, and we're going to look forward to the last 16 and the knockout round. The path to the potential champions has been set. You know who you will play. You know who you might play. You know who you might face if you can reach the promised land, if you can reach the final. But before that, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, follow us on the social medias as the ticker bar says below. Is this the greatest group stage of all time? And I'm racking my head. Listen, the first World Cup I remember fully was the 1998 World Cup. Obviously, I was alive for 1994, but I don't remember that at all. 1998, I remember, and there were some good teams, especially some of the African teams like in Nigeria, who caused a few upsets. I think Nigeria topped their group actually in that World Cup, but it kind of went to plan. It went to plan even to an extent where France got 3 out of 3. They were one of the favorites going into the World Cup as the home nation as well. Brazil, I think they won 2 out of their 3 games and drew 1, and obviously them two then met in the final. Now, of course, there's a whole World Cup to go, so we don't know how it's going to be. All the favorites could go through in the next rounds, and you could get, obviously Argentina and Brazil in the semi-finals, who are the 2 favorites, and then on the other side you may get France and who knows, Spain, for example, in the semi-finals. And you say, in the end, it kind of went to plan. But just as a group stage, I'm going to bring up what was our predictions at the start of the season. So I started the tournament, and obviously that podcast and that is out on the channel already and on the audio platforms. And as you can see here, if I want to focus on the dark horses, really, because these are the teams that we thought were going to go far, that were going to cause a few upsets. And frankly, every single one of them have flopped. All of them have flopped. Now, yeah, people say Uruguay in the group stage is not a flop, but they flopped because I think most people expected them to go out of the group stages or get through, should I say, from the group stages. Germany, we know Germany ain't the same Germany that won the World Cup back in 2014, but in a group with Japan and Costa Rica, most of them expected to get out of group stages. Denmark, semi-finalists of the Euros last year, beat France, twice in their Nations League group. Many expected them in a group with Tunisia and Australia to get out of the group stages. And then, of course, Javern, as he likes to do, he says he likes to be very difficult. There's going to be no dark horses. Well, that's already been proved wrong. We have Croatia, who could potentially be another dark horse. 2018, yes, they got to the final, but I don't think most people really expected. They thought, like similar to Belgium, they're a year too far. Sammy says we found like 3 turkeys from the Euros. You're right. You're right. Everyone's like dark horse, dark horse, dark horse, but none of them made it out the group stage. Now, some people like to claim this, Portugal's got my dark horse. Portugal are a top 8 nation in the world, Euros winners, world-class players, in multiple positions throughout the team. I don't think they can be a dark horse. The Germany one even irked me a bit, but Germany are even behind Denmark in the world ranking. I think they're 10th in the world. So I said, okay, fair enough. But I can't put Portugal as a dark horse. And that's why it's right. This says Ramsey said Portugal flops. It's actually the other way around. So Ramsey said Spain flops. Kyle said Portugal flops. And I think Portugal are a nation where much is expected, but seldom delivered. Obviously, we know they won the Euros and the Nations League, but either side of that, they have seldom delivered and something is expected of them. So I don't think they can really be classed as a dark horses, as some people have said, but that was just our criteria. We said top 8 in the world, and Portugal were within that, so they can't be dark horses. But yeah, what am I saying? Sorry. So we had all these. Croatia goes through. They could potentially go far. Japan goes through. Japan beat Spain, uh, Germany, and lost to Costa Rica. Japan beat the two hardest teams in their group and lost to the easiest team in their group and topped the group. They didn't just qualify, they topped the group of Spain and Germany. That is crazy. Yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And then you've got the group where, to be fair, a lot of people didn't expect much from the Belgium team. I'll say that. A lot of people didn't expect much. But for Morocco to win that group with Croatia, Belgium, and Canada, for Morocco to win that group undefeated, by the way, 2 wins and a draw, that's a shock. That is a shock. People say, oh no, well, I didn't expect Belgium to. Yeah, but did you expect Morocco to top the group unbeaten? Because I didn't. And I don't think most people did. There's a lot of concern going into this tournament about the African teams. What can they actually do? Ghana flopped. Let's call it right. Ghana flopped. They narrowly lost to Portugal in the first game. You're not going to bite there, shoot them off for that. But Inaki Williams had a chance right there, and then he slipped. You can't slip in a World Cup. You can't slip. You can slip at any other time, in any other tournament, for any other team. You can't slip in a World Cup. He slipped. Then they beat not Serbia, South Korea 3-2. Brilliant game. And then this is their chance of revenge, to enact revenge on the greatest villain to Ghana's football history, arguably the greatest villain in Africa's football history. And not only do they get another penalty against that team, they missed the penalty against that team. Ghana flopped. Ghana should be in the next round playing Brazil. Ghana flopped. Cameroon, people will say, okay, they beat Brazil, and it was a good performance against a Brazil B side, but it was a good performance, a good win. They showed a lot of fight, but they went into that game without it in their own hands, and that's their own fault. That is their own fault. The best case scenario for when you are not the favorites of a group is to play the favorites in the last game, because your hope is that the favorites beat your other two potential rivals for that second place, and then they play a weakened side in the last game that gives you an opportunity. And this is exactly what happened for Cameroon. Brazil played Serbia and Switzerland first, beat them both, and they played a weakened side in the last game. But Cameroon are serious. They lost the first game to Switzerland. They drew 3-3 with Serbia, and then they want to put in their best performance against Brazil when it's not in their own hands. And it wasn't in their own hands. Switzerland won their game, and Cameroon's out. Tunisia won their last game, but Tunisia's out. That's 3 African teams. But Morocco topped the group. Well done, Morocco, brilliant. And Senegal. And I said this on HH's channel. I'll get into you lot's comments in a second. Make sure you hit the like button. Thanks for joining me and supporting. I said this on HH Havo's channel. Mane's out, but if there's any group that I would want to be in for Senegal with Mane being out, it's this group. You could afford to lose to Netherlands and still go through, because Qatar are trash. It's a matter of how much you beat them by, not whether you beat them or not. And then it's a straight shootout between you and Uruguay. And it was a straight shootout between them and Uruguay, and they came out on top. Senegal through. Now, unfortunately for them, Mane is out of the tournament, obviously. Idrissa Gana Gueye is going to miss the last 16. It's going to be a tough game. But they got through, and they got through an anniversary of the second year anniversary of the passing of Papa Bouba Diop, who was the person who announced them to the world with that first ever goal in the World Cup, in their first ever World Cup against France back in 2002. Brilliant moment. And fitting that they qualified on that day. Now, and Koulibaly, who actually was wearing, I think, number 19 on his armband, or on his arm at least, was the one who scored the winning goal. Now, we're going to talk about flops. And there's a few comments. Thanks, Hassan. Veta Games, big up yourself. He says, yes, it is the greatest World Cup group stage ever, and it will only get better with future years to come. And I think so. I think with the gap closing between the best and the rest, the traditional best, the powerhouses and the rest, you'd hope that more and more of these group stages will be closer. Now, my only issue is that they're expanding the World Cup to 48 teams next. And that means, yeah, Jamaica have a greater chance of qualifying. So I love that. But, and I think they're going to have a free team group. And then one qualifies from there and it goes into another group stage. Something along those lines. But the more teams you get in, the quality is going to reduce. And we see that from things like the Champions League. You see that from things like the Europa League. Sorry, bear with me. I think Cal's going to be joining. Yeah, sorry. So we see that when you expand these tournaments and you get in teams that maybe are not of the level, the quality reduces. But maybe the 3 team groups go into a second group phase. I don't know the full format, to be honest. Maybe. And from there you get the bigger quality. Maybe. I don't know. But for me, I think this, if we're to keep a 32 team World Cup, 100% I agree. In future years, it just gets closer and closer and closer. This is the first time since we've had a 32 team, 8 group World Cup that no team has got 9 points out of 9, 3 wins out of 3. First time ever? Yes, first time ever. 1998, France did. Brazil did it in 2002. It's the first time ever. So what does that mean? For me, that means that it's an open World Cup. There's no team that you can say hit the ground running and have continued in that way. Now, obviously, there's caveats in it. Brazil won their first 2 and rested up for the last game. France won their first 2 and rested up for the last game. So they could well have gone 3 out of 3. But in those other groups, so in 2002 when Brazil did it, 1998 when France did it, they won their first 2 and also rested up in the last game and still won those games. So does that mean that there's not, as much as we've got favorites, and Carl's just joining us right now, as much as they've got favorites, there's no out and out favorite. France, Argentina, Brazil, England. Listen, the 2 teams with the best record at the end of the group stage is England with 7 points. And Netherlands. No, not Netherlands. No, Netherlands. Yeah, Netherlands with 7 points. And Morocco with 7 points. Nobody had those 3 teams as winning the World Cup, other than the normal "it's coming home" that we hear from England fans. Carl, we're just talking about whether or not this is the greatest group stage of all time when it comes to the World Cup. And just to drop another fact on there, before I get your opinion, is that no team has actually won the World Cup with whoever's ended the best since Brazil in 2002. Whoever's ended the group with the best record has never gone on to win the World Cup. But this year, no team, it's the first time since we're the 32 team World Cup, 8 groups, that no team has got 9 out of 9. So in the past, the team will get 9 out of 9 and not go on to win the World Cup since 2002. But now there's been no team that's got 9 out of 9. So does that mean anyone can win it? Like, is it actually an open World Cup?
But that's what I kind of said before the World Cup kind of started. It's like, as much as Argentina and Brazil were the favourites, it's like, if you really think about it, all the teams are meaty. All the teams are meaty. So it's really and truly, it's anyone's game. Because, like, if you look at how the World Cup's been so far, the group stages, and as much as England's have their problems, and people all have their opinions on who Southgate should be starting with. It's Foden, or it's Grealish, or it's Bellingham, or Henderson, or Rashford, or Sterling, Saka, whatever it is, right? England can sometimes muddle through games, but if we look at the World Cup so far, barring Spain beating a very lackluster Costa Rica, was it 7-0, right?
Yeah.
Bar Spain trouncing them. Everyone has struggled to put the ball into the back of the net. There's been a real lack of quality going forward. Yeah, like deep it. Argentina's played Saudi Arabia. We've got Australia in there. We've got England demolished Iran 6-2. To be fair, they scored 6 goals past Iran, but Qatar is one of the worst teams there. I don't think they even considered won 2 goals in a game. No one has been putting the really poor teams to the sword, and we even saw to the latter stages some of these teams pushing on the last day to try and qualify out of the group. So everyone's been, and even like Brazil and France, they're in the same boat. Brazil won their first game 2-0. I think their first goal must have come after the hour mark.
Like
70 minutes. And France is the same thing. Well, France have never been a team since they won the World Cup 4 years ago. They've never been a team that been 4-5-6-0. So to be fair to France, this is kind of them anyway. Like Deschamps kind of gets them playing in a pragmatic way. So that is kind of France. But no one's really been putting anyone to the sword, and we've got no disrespect to anybody, but we've got some poor teams in the World Cup. And like I said, bar a poor Costa Rica and a poor Iran on the day, it hasn't been all there. So it's anyone's game. Like if they're struggling to score past, like if Argentina is struggling to put the ball past Mexico, Poland, and Saudi Arabia, when they come up against England, as much as people will put Argentina favourites, if they can't put the ball into the back of the net, England only need 1 goal, and England can do it. Like it's anyone's game. Like it's anyone's game. Honestly, anyone can win this World Cup.
Their game says this mid-season World Cup is a big factor for surprise results, and it wouldn't, everything becomes a factor when we're kind of determining one thing versus the next. But I do think the mid-season World Cup is brilliant. It's brilliant because most times at the end of the World Cup, people complain about, we just had a long season, and that's maybe why the games weren't of a high quality, or the best players couldn't perform, whatever it might be. There is no excuse. There is no excuse. Right now, everybody is in the form. Maybe not. They're not in the form of their life, but they're at the place where you should be performing your best throughout a season. Midway in the season, you've got rid of the preseason rust. You're not tired. This is your time. Now, of course, if you're injured or whatever like that, there's those factors to consider. But all things being equal, you can get injured at any point in the season. This is the best time. So this is the true. You could say it's the true quality of these teams. It's like the whole lockdown factor, and it's like, is lockdown football the truest form of football, in the sense that there's no crowd, so there's no home or away advantage. It doesn't make a difference where you play. It's literally 11v11, 90 minutes, and the best team wins. And of course, we've got the crowds and all that. And all that is a factor in on professional sport. So you have to take that. You can't take that away. But it's like there's no excuses. And I say that to go on to this point where Ryan says KDB is the biggest flop this World Cup. I mean, I'll be hard pushed to disagree with this. For a man who's in the form that he was coming into the tournament, for a team that he's playing for what he's achieved at club level, granted the Belgian team aren't as great as they used to be, but it's the back end of a golden generation. He's not at the back end of his career per se. He's still in the prime of his career. He should have done much, much more, I think, to get this Belgian team at least out of the group stage. At least.
I can't disagree. He's been quite a huge disappointment. There's been a few a few guys that have flopped or disappointed me. I mean, still time to turn it around because they've made out of the group as well. I mean, one of them, Heung-min Son, he's in poor form this season. Like, he's been garbage all season. So it's not really a shock or unexpected, but just the quality of the player that he is, even for like Spurs, he's been a flop. He's been disappointing this season. So I thought maybe, clears his head. He's with South Korea now. He's at the World Cup. Just all right. Let me just reset. Let me just go back to basics and let me just do this thing. He's been poor as well, man. And there's been some poor players, man, that have just they're not doing it. They're just not doing it. I expected a couple Argentina players to be doing better as well.
Yeah, Lautaro Martinez has been awful.
Yeah, Martinez.
He's been awful.
He's been horrible. I
was expecting things from him in this group, Saudi Arabia and that.
I predicted him as my top goal scorer, Golden Boot. I was thinking Saudi Arabia first game, and we saw it in the first half with about 3 or 4 disallowed goals. Yep. I thought them man were going to score about 7 or 8 past them. Martin is going to get a hat trick, and I thought, this is going to be the start of it. I expected things from him. No, didn't see nothing.
Cloud 420 says Jesus and Alex Telles out of the World Cup. Listen,
that ain't no problem.
Advantage Brazil because Gabriel Jesus is garbage. Kyle, he's so bad.
I know that. I know he's so bad.
God, he's so bad. He doesn't do anything. He just runs around. He doesn't. Oh my God. He's like, I knew he was bad. But it's like you think, all right, 4 years later, after you got all that stick that you did in 2018, you didn't score 1 goal in the what did he score for 5 games? He didn't score 1 goal, started every single game. You thought you're gonna come back with a vengeance now. The man's not a striker. He's a full swinger and might be able to pop out with a goal from out wide. He's so bad. So that is not the issue. The only issue there for me is that the substitute striker is Pedro, some guy from Brazil. I think they should have called up Gabigol. I said at the time, Gabriel Barbosa, who also plays in Brazil, but he's a more proven, experienced goal scorer. Instead of
Bobby,
Pedro. No. See, Bobby, for me, was Bobby or Martinelli. And Martinelli, I'm cool with that. Now that Neymar's injured, you're kind of like, Firmino might need...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
that's the issue. So I would have gone... Firmino would have been in my team originally. But it was between him and Martinelli. And Martinelli's done all right. But you can't, you're banking on a youngster to replace Neymar if something goes wrong. I would have been more comfortable with a Firmino. But I think... I'm going to say there's a few players in they can do a job, but none of them are Neymar. Even Firmino's not Neymar. Like, Brazil can't win the World Cup without Neymar. Brazil cannot win this World Cup without Neymar. So it's Neymar or bust. But yeah, Jesus terrible. Like,
who do you think is worse, Jesus or Lukaku?
Oh,
because that game that Lukaku had to help Belgium go through that ended 0-0, the last game, and he came on at halftime. The man missed about 4 or 5 golden opportunities. When I say golden, I mean, you ain't playing Football Manager, you get like a key chance, a key highlight. Yeah. It's like you should be scoring that. Man had about 4 or 5 of them, and you're talking about
that might be the worst substitute appearance I've ever seen in my life. in the context of the game and what rested on it, that might be the worst. He missed sitters from like 3 yards. All of them. The combined distance for all of that was probably 12 yards. For all those chances combined. He had 4 chances of taking a penalty, basically, and missed them all. That's basically it. Had 4 chances of taking a penalty and missed them all. So that ain't no problem. Veta says KDB. Oh yeah, Veta's a Man City fan. KDB couldn't carry overweight Hazard and no goal scoring Lukaku. Well, do it yourself. Drag the team. Did the KDB score a goal in this World Cup? I don't know if he did. He got to go in there 1 more win against Canada.
I think he scored in the very first. He scored the first game.
Oh, he scored against Canada.
Yeah. But that's the point that I was making back earlier in the season when I was speaking to you, when I said, so this is a prime example of when Lukaku came in the second half, right, and missing all them chances, right? And it's like, and I asked you, who do you think's Man City's most important player, Haaland or KDB? KDB could put all the service into the box that he wants, right? You got a striker like that, like Lukaku, that can't finish. The game ends 0-0. Now you got Haaland in the box. He comes on like that, and those chances fall away. Hat-trick, 4 goals, no problem. No problem. Games won, no problem. That's why I say he is, because they don't have Jesus, don't have Sterling. They saw a couple players.
They
right?
got Julian Alvarez.
Stop that.
Alvarez. Stop that. So, Kakao, 2 things. So what would you say was the biggest shock of the World Cup so far?
Oh, 100% Saudi Arabia being Argentina.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah, that's
I think even that threw them back. But I think what even
bigger than Japan topping the group.
No. And I tell you why. Because personally, I always had I always had my doubts of Germany even getting out of the group.
Yeah.
And Japan's better than Costa Rica. So if they're not making it through, I'm saying Japan's making it through with Spain. And they beat Germany in the first game. And I didn't even bat an eyelid. I wasn't even like, oh, big shot. Like they beat them 2-1. I'm like, it is what it is. Germany's rubbish. I knew it. And then obviously it comes down to basically Spain and Germany, and they play each other. Kind of, again, anything can happen. But I guess in the manner they topped the group was kind of a shock, because they're supposed to be Costa Rica, and they didn't beat Costa Rica.
After they beat Germany, they could have beat Costa Rica and gone through.
Yeah, exactly, and they would be on 6 points, and then Spain and Germany draw, and then Spain will be on 4 points, and then all they would need is a draw to top the group. Obviously, Spain beat them, Spain would top the group. But as it was, they beat Spain. But in the manner, yeah, maybe it was a bit of a shock, but I wouldn't say it was a big upset than Saudi Arabia and Argentina. That's crazy, man. That was absolutely crazy.
I heard that. So I was a ball in or out. Let's talk about curvature. Yeah, the ball was definitely in. That ball couldn't be more in if it tried.
Yeah, that ball was in 100%. That ball was in. But maybe that's a prime example of maybe the rules need to change, man, because that's outrageous.
Why? If it's hanging over,
you got. Yeah, I don't even want to say give it like 50% of the ball hanging over, because even that you can't measure that on the pitch. You can't measure half of the ball, like, unless you've got some high tech sensors in the ball.
The only way to change it is if they say any part of the ball touching the ground has to be on the pitch. So if it's hanging over, it's not enough. That's the only way they could change it. But it wasn't. But listen, let's do a quick before we get out of there. So we're going to go through the groups. We see the groups anyway. Netherlands, Senegal, they first and second. England, USA in Group B. Argentina, Poland. Poland was so bad. Oh, they're so bad. But
I just want to say, right? There was a thing that DR Sports probably teamed up with, was it Opta Stats or whatever, and they did the £1 million prediction thing. I have come very close in this group stage. I think I've got like 1 or 2 teams out of place. I don't think you realize I was so close. I've got the first group spot on. I think everyone got the first group spot on. I think everyone went Senegal second, Ecuador and Qatar, Netherlands top the group. If you didn't do that, you're crazy. I think I've got the Saudi Arabia one right as well. Argentina top, Mexico second, Poland third, and Poland second. Sorry, Mexico third, and yeah. So I think Saudi Arabia. I think I got most of them right. Pretty close.
Where are we? Yeah. So France, Australia, Japan, Spain. Obviously, it's a big shock there with Japan topping the group.
That might be right up there as well, Neeks. Denmark finished bottom of that group. That is right up there. Because
before you we're going through the predictions that everyone had, and I think a couple of people had Denmark as dark horses out.
Yeah.
A couple of us had Uruguay as dark horses out. So one person had Germany as dark horses out. And Devon said, no dark horses, and he's wrong because clearly we've got some dark horses already. We're gonna go through the World Cup brackets in a second. We'll see who can meet who. I'm in the last two groups: Brazil, Switzerland, and Portugal and South Korea. Now it's the last 16, so we're gonna. I mean, predicting this World Cup is nearly impossible. We're gonna try it
Yeah.
anyway.
100%.
Netherlands, USA. Who do you think is gonna go through there?
I'm gonna. You know what? USA got some heart, and they got some decent players that can turn up on the day for them. But again, Netherlands haven't been at their brightest. They haven't been at their best. I mean, I know Depay has come into this tournament unfit, injured, and
Yeah.
I think he only started the last. I think he came off the bench in the second game very, very late, and started the last game. But I think he came off, got subbed off. So he's getting there. Gakpo's he's had a couple moments. But I think I'm going to give it to Netherlands. I think they've got enough in the tank to see them through. They've got enough decent players that, even though they haven't been playing well, just individual quality, you know, Van Dijk's and Frankie de Jong, Gakpo, Depay, they've got enough individual quality on the pitch to see them through.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Argentina, Australia. Now I think like the win against Mexico was so important for Argentina. After they lost to Saudi Arabia and that game with Mexico was just dragging. I was thinking, boy, if they draw this game, they're out of the tournament. Out of the tournament. Before they even got out of first game, out of the tournament. Messi pops up with one to go. And they dominate obviously the rest of that game, dominate the game against Poland. That was one of the worst games that I've seen from a respectable side ever. It's not just in terms that they played bad. They didn't play to win. I mean, at one point they were just playing to not get booked because they can go through on yellow cards. It was they were so bad. But Argentina were dominant. I think they're coming into the World Cup into their format at the right time. You know, they had all this 36 game unbeaten. I guess every game that you're unbeaten, you're only one loss away from losing that unbeaten record. They lost at the first game of the tournament, so that's not even in their minds anymore. No one's talking about it anymore. They've already lost that unbeaten record. Now they can just focus on winning the games that they need to in terms of winning the World Cup. So I think that's going to be should be comfortable 2-0, 3-1, something like that for me. Japan, Croatia. Who are you going for this?
That's a very interesting game. Now, based off of their performances and results alone, Japan come into this match having beaten Spain and having beaten Germany. So you can't put it past them and say, I'm just going to give it to Croatia. Because like they've beaten two international giants. They've beaten Spain and they've beaten Germany. So they're not to be taken lightly. They are not to be taken lightly. So it's a tough one. But Croatia generally have some quality in their squad. They generally have some quality in their squad. But you know what? I'm going to give it to Japan. I'm going to give it to Japan because they're playing with some, like, they've made out of the group, right? If you think right, they've made it out. They probably come into this World Cup and they probably said to themselves, let's give it all we can. We're in a tough group. We've got Spain and Germany. No one's expecting us to get through. Everyone's looking at Spain and everyone's looking at Germany to win their two other games. They're looking to beat us and looking to beat Costa Rica and, you know, maybe draw or one of the other losers to the other and both of them go through. So let's just try and do what we got. They've come out and they've beaten both of them. And they're going to be on such a high that they're going to come in and see Croatia and they're going to be like, we're going to give you the Spain and give you the Germany vibes. We're just going to give you pure heart. And you know what? I'm going to give it to Japan. I think Japan are going to... I know I can't make a re-prediction, but they're going to be the dark horses of the tournament, you know? They're going to be the dark horses of the tournament. You watch out for Japan.
Guys, make sure you lot will put your predictions for each game as we're going through it in the last 16. Put your your score predictions. So Netherlands, USA, Argentina, Australia, Japan, Croatia. I'm also going to go Japan, to be fair. I think, I think if they play in a way that they played against both Germany and Spain, who, especially Germany, created a lot of chances against Japan, to be fair, but Japan were always able to hit them on the counter attack. They had that pace and they had the energy right up until the end of the game in both of those games to keep going. And I think especially in the Spain game, they were still creating chances even when they're 2-1 up. Could have won by more. And I think Croatia are good. They've got some quality players, but they've also got some aging players. And I think if Japan can stay in the game, and I mean even 1-0 down with 20 minutes left, I think they've got a great chance. I'm actually going to go with Japan with that pace, that energy to actually get through Croatia. Brazil, South Korea. I'm going with Brazil, obviously. I think, once the first team for me is back out there, that team is Neymar or no Neymar. I think they're good enough to beat South Korea. Son, great assist last game, but he ain't really turned up. South Korea's a decent side, but for me, I'm going Brazil. I don't know if you agree or disagree with that.
No, I agree. I can't really see South Korea making it past that game, to be honest. I think that's their tournament run.
England, Senegal.
That's a big game.
It is.
It's a big game because Senegal haven't even been playing bad this tournament. They've just been very good, and they've just been going about their business. You can see that they're 100% missing Sadio Mane. If they had Sadio Mane, right, and they're sat in this position, it's a whole different story. It's a whole different story. We're talking about potential of getting to the semis and that. I'm telling you. If Sadio Mane was here, it's a whole different story. But
because they're pretty solid. Like
defensively, that's what I'm saying. They're pretty solid.
That X factor up front, and they don't have that proper. Like they miss a few chances. Ismail Assar and them. I hear you.
But as it is that they don't have them, and I think England will have the capacity to control the game. But like you said, because they're so good, like defensively, like England struggled to break down USA. That game ended 0-0, and I don't know if it's because they were playing not to lose, because they knew that just get a point, sit on 4, we're pretty much through. Like, I don't know how teams like approach every game. Just go and win. If you win the game, you're through, in it. Like I don't know why teams are playing so. Like you said, when Poland were at one point playing just to not get booked. Like just go and win the game, innit? As simple as that. Just go win the game. Go get a goal. Go grab a goal. But yeah, England, I don't know, man. They could struggle. I'm actually, this is the hardest one for me so far to actually pick. But I'm going to give it to England, man. I'm going to give it to England.
I think England will nick it. Wouldn't be surprised if it goes extra time. Would not be surprised at all. But I think England will nick it. I think you compare, there's no Mane, and England have Kane, Rashford, Saka, Wilson, Sterling on the bench, potentially on the bench. I don't know what the team's going to pick. Fold. They've got enough, I think, whereas Senegal don't even have their first choice forward. Idrissa Gueye is also out suspended, which I think is a big miss in that midfield. Yep. So yeah, I think England will sneak through there. France, Poland, I think we can both agree France.
Yeah, especially after that last performance against Argentina, man. I've got no confidence in them.
I think these two are interesting. Okay, so I'll start with the Portugal, Switzerland. I'm going Portugal with that. I don't know if you agree.
You're going with what, sorry?
Portugal, Switzerland. I'm going Portugal.
You're not backing your sweepstake team?
And that money was lost from the moment that I drew out Switzerland, my money was gone. I have no team.
No, team is Switzerland.
I got two sweepstakes, one Spain and one Switzerland. So to be fair, if Switzerland and Spain goes both through, I'm guaranteed to be in the semi-final. I think it's top 3 get money, I think. So
you know what? I don't think it's as easy as that, you know. I hear you, but boy, if there's going to be one upset, I think it's going to be this game. I think it'll be Switzerland, Portugal. Right, we've picked all the obvious ones so far. Like that's not how the World Cup's gone. Because
we picked Japan. We picked Japan.
I guess. Oh man.
Okay. So hold on for a second, because what are you saying for Morocco, Spain?
Spain.
See, I can't say that confidently. You just expect Morocco. Listen, Morocco are doing it defensively. They're so solid.
Spain got that, man.
I'm not putting it past Morocco to not win that game. I'm not gonna lie. If Spain topped the group, I'll be more confident in them. Obviously, they wouldn't play Morocco, but I'll be more. Actually, they could have if Morocco finished second. I'll be more confident in them. The fact that they didn't top the group,
they threw on purpose, man.
They have all these. They lost.
They wanted to dodge Croatia
and Brazil. But
exactly.
I just think they have so much possession, but they're wasteful. Clearly, they're wasteful. Apart from that first game against Costa Rica, they have all that possession and don't score enough goals.
Have you not seen their strikers?
Exactly, and I think it's gonna bite them. Now, granted, it could be the quarters where it bites them. I don't know, but I think both of these games are tough to call. Morocco, Spain, and Portugal, Switzerland.
See, I would have gone Spain, Switzerland, you know.
Bruno Fernandes is the best player in the group so far. Once he's back in that team.
Wait, in the Portugal group or all the groups?
The whole group. All the groups.
Stop talking nonsense.
2 goals, 2 assists, 1 penalty. I think 1 a penalty. He's been the best. He's been better. I mean, I guess Mbappe has been alright.
No, man, there's been some cool players, man. Mbappe has been one of them.
Casemiro's been good. Basically, what the Man United players. No, okay. What we saying? So you're saying Spain, Switzerland?
Yeah.
And I'm saying Portugal, Morocco.
There's no way you're putting Morocco over Spain, man. Whoa.
Josh says, Morocco are not that good when you isolate their players, and Spain are good at that. So I say Spain. Also, you can argue that Morocco was the best team in the group, so this will be a challenge. No, you could argue that at the end of the group stage, but you tell me, Josh, did you have Morocco topping the group? Did you have them qualifying from the group? I don't know. Let me look, guys, in the comments. What are you saying? Morocco, Spain. Wherever you come up with more, I'll put that team in.
I will say though, Hakimi has been absolutely balling for Morocco.
And
Hakimi and Ziyech, Lord. And they both play on the right hand side to terrorize Jordi Alba, whoever plays over there for Spain on the day.
Morocco, Spain, Portugal, Switzerland. What are you lot saying? I'll leave that to you. But until wait for those comments to come through. But either way, so all right, let's put the favorites through.
That's a big game right there.
Netherlands, Argentina.
That's a big game.
So if it happens as we predict, we'll have Netherlands, Argentina in the quarterfinal. Japan, Brazil. I think that's Brazil. I think at this point Brazil are through to the semis, and I think it's so important because Neymar. If Brazil were playing Spain in the quarters without Neymar, I don't know. I'm not confident. But South Korea, Japan, or even South Korea, Croatia, I think Brazil can win both of those games with their first team, minus Neymar. As long as Neymar is fit and ready for that semi-final. Now, maybe that might mean a couple minutes against Japan. I don't know. But if Neymar is fit and ready for that semi-final, that is Brazil's. Oh, not even the best chance. It's their only chance. It's Neymar or bust. They're not getting through Argentina without Neymar. I don't even think they're getting through Netherlands without Neymar. If you were to say somehow make it through, then cool. Then yeah, you can get through to the final without Neymar. And you hope you play Senegal in the final. But that's just what you're hoping. But any big team that Brazil face from here on in without Neymar is tricky. It's tricky. We won't do the predictions for the quarters yet because we don't know what the exact quarters going to be. But yeah, Netherlands, Argentina, that would be a big game. Brazil, Japan, I think Brazil go through that. England, France, that would be a big game. And I think if England do go to extra time, and that could be telling come this game here in terms of tired legs. Spain, Portugal. That will be a tight. That's going to penalties. That game is going to penalties if that happens.
Nah, man, nah.
But we'll get to those quarters when that time comes. Obviously, the last 16 starts today at 3:00. So just over 2 hours from now, the last 16 starts. Just as a reminder, I'm going to bring up our predictions. I do need to get one of them changed because I mixed up Cal and Ramsey's flops. But obviously the winners, me, Nat, and Bianca had Brazil. Jay Ramscal had Argentina, so that's 3-3. Dark horses, we all got that wrong. Germany out, Denmark out, Uruguay out, and they are dark horses, so Japan's wrong. Flops. Well, Belgium flopped. So they've definitely, Nat and Bianca definitely got that right. If Spain go out to Morocco, that's a flop. If Portugal go out to Switzerland, that's a flop. If England go out to Senegal, they're flopped. And if France go out to Poland, they're flopped. So the flops are still open, other than the fact that we know that Nat and Bianca are right. They are flopped. I would say France going out in the last 16 is probably equal to Belgium going out in the group stages. But all of those teams should be making it to the quarterfinals minimum, and Belgium are not. Golden boot. I'm sure that was supposed to be golden assist. No, that's supposed to be golden assist.
No, it's not. That's
why I put Kane. That's why I put Kane. I thought it was golden pass.
No.
Golden pass.
No.
I feel robbed, you know. Someone misspeaking. Someone keeps misspeaking. Kane ain't scored a goal yet. So I've already written that off because he was supposed to stat pad against Wales, Iran, and USA. And he got 3 assists, 0 goals. So forget that. Messi's on 2, so he's got a chance. Mbappe's on 3, top goal scorer, along with Abu Bakr, which Nat has, but Abu Bakr's out. So all it takes is Gakpo, Rashford, Mbappe. Obviously, Ender Valencia is out. I think those are the 3 that's on 3 who are still in the tournament. All they need is one more goal, and Abu Bakr will lose that. And Lautaro Martinez, he has been terrible. He's been worse than Kane because Kane's actually got 3 assists.
Marat's still in. He's on 3. Scored 1 in each game.
Oh, Marat's still in. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, that Abu Bakr one's looking very, very dodgy. But well done for the group stage. The golden ball. Listen, that Neymar one's looking peak because Neymar played 70 minutes in the tournament. So Neymar will have to literally turn it on in the semis and the final to have any chance of winning this golden ball. Like, turn it on. He has to be man of the century in both of those games because
that ain't happening.
He ain't playing enough games. That's the real thing. He ain't playing enough games. Vinny Jr. still got a chance because he's still in the tournament. Messi, of the names that we've given, Messi's probably leading that because he's played well in 2 games, scored in the first, which they lost. They're still in the tournament. He's probably going to have a good game against Australia. We'll see what happens in the quarterfinals. But he's playing 3 games. He's played 3 games so far. But I think who's your lot's best player so far? I think Bruno Fernandes has been the best player in the tournament so far. Him or Mbappe? Personally.
It's hard to say, man. There's been some good players. Like Messi's been good. Like I said, Ziyech has been really good. I think Mbappe's been good. Dembele's been good as well. Bruno's been good. I think I give it another game. Let's see the round of 16s and see who's really made who can earn their money. I mean,
Your guy Griezmann's been good.
no, he's been awful. He's been awful. I hate the guy. I hate the guy. He's rubbish. He's been awful.
Actually, Griezmann's been the best player. That's my call. Best player. Golden boy.
Nope.
Griezmann.
Nope.
Well, listen,
Nope.
guys. Thank you very much for joining me. Smash the like button. For those watching on the playback, drop your comments below with your predictions for the last 16, the score, and who you think. You can drop who you think is going to win it, but we'll be back later in the knockout rounds to review and then preview the later rounds as well. Subscribe to us and follow us on all the different social medias. Enjoy the last 16. We